Right now, millions of Americans are waking up with the same question on their mind. Why is my payment late? Why hasn't my money shown up yet? And is something changing behind the scenes? If you rely on Social Security, whether that's retirement, SSDI, SSI, or survivor benefits, this is not something you can afford to ignore. Over the past few days, banks across the country have quietly begun adjusting how they process incoming government deposits. Not because Social Security is running out of money, not because payments are being cut, but because new bank rules are starting to take effect, and they're already creating confusion. Some people are seeing their deposits arrive later than usual. Others are being asked to verify information they've never had to confirm before. And a small but growing number of recipients are reporting temporary holds on their funds. Now, before you panic, listen closely. This isn't a headline-grabbing announcement from the Social Security Administration. There was no press conference, no warning letter mailed out to seniors. That's what makes this so unsettling. The changes aren't coming directly from Social Security. They're coming from the banking side, from compliance updates tied to federal regulations that most people never hear about until it hits their wallet. Banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and several regional credit unions are updating internal systems. These systems handle how federal payments are received, verified, and released into your account. And here's the part most people don't realize. Even if Social Security sends your money on time, your bank can delay when you actually see it. That's the gap where problems are starting to appear. Across online forums and local news reports, retirees are sharing similar stories. My check usually hits on Wednesday. This time it didn't. I called my bank and they said it's under review. They told me it's because of a new policy, but no one explained what that policy really is. And that's where misinformation starts spreading fast. Some people are claiming benefits are being reduced, others say deposits are being rerouted or canceled. None of that is true, but the fear is real. Here's the truth. What's happening has nothing to do with your eligibility, your work history, or your benefit amount. It has everything to do with how banks are now being required to handle government funds. And this isn't just affecting a small group. If you receive Social Security by direct deposit, which is over 99% of recipients, these changes could touch you in some way, even if you don't notice it right away. Now, you might be thinking, I've been getting Social Security for years. Why now? That's the right question, because what happens next may surprise you, and it explains why these changes are rolling out so quietly and why the timing matters more than ever. Let's break down what's actually happening, because once you see how this system works, everything starts to make sense. Social Security doesn't just press a button and money magically appears in your bank account. Every payment moves through a chain. First, the Treasury Department releases the funds. Then those funds travel through the federal payment system. And finally, your bank receives the deposit and decides when and how it becomes available to you. That last step is where the new rules come in. Over the past year, federal regulators have been pushing banks to tighten how they handle incoming government payments. The goal is to reduce fraud, prevent account takeovers, and stop illegal rerouting of benefits. On paper, it sounds reasonable. In real life, it creates friction. Starting late this quarter, banks were instructed to update their compliance protocols for recurring federal deposits. That includes Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and veterans benefits. These updates focus on identity verification, account activity monitoring, and payment release timing. Here's what that means in plain English. Banks are now required to double-check certain accounts before releasing government funds. Not every account, not every payment, but enough that it's being noticed. If your account shows unusual activity, recent changes, or mismatched information, the system may flag it. When that happens, your deposit doesn't disappear. It pauses, sometimes for hours, sometimes for a day, in rare cases, longer. Banks like Chase and Wells Fargo have already confirmed internally that these checks are automated. That means no human looks at your account right away. A computer system does, and computers don't care if your rent is due tomorrow. Now, here's the part no one is talking about publicly. These rule changes didn't come with a big announcement. because technically, Social Security didn't change anything. Your benefit amount is the same. Your payment date is the same. The responsibility shifted quietly to the banks. And that's why Social Security offices are telling callers, we sent the payment on time. From their perspective, that's true. But from your perspective, if the money isn't in your account, it feels like something is wrong, and you're not imagining it. Federal payment data shows that even a 24-hour delay affects millions of households when deposits are this large and this widespread. A one-day delay doesn't sound like much until it's groceries, medication, or a utility bill waiting on that deposit. Now, before you get too excited or too worried, here's an important clarification. These rules are not permanent delays. They are conditional checks. Most payments clear without any issue at all. But for those who do get flagged, the experience can feel sudden and unexplained. And that's why some people are being asked to verify their identity again. Others are being told to update personal details. A few are receiving calls or emails from their bank asking questions they've never been asked before. That's not random. That's the new system at work. But here's the truth. Most headlines won't tell you. The people most affected aren't always the ones you'd expect. Now, let's talk about who is actually being affected the most, because this is where things start to hit home. If you're receiving Social Security retirement benefits and your banking information hasn't changed in years, you may never notice a problem. Many payments are going through exactly as scheduled, but for others, especially right now, the experience is very different. Recipients on SSI and SSDI are seeing the highest number of temporary delays. That's not because those programs are unstable. It's because those accounts are more frequently reviewed by banking systems due to income thresholds, balance fluctuations, and account activity patterns. Survivor benefit recipients are also showing up in reports, especially those who recently switched banks or updated their direct deposit details. And listen carefully to this part. Even something as simple as changing your mailing address, adding a joint account holder, or opening a new linked savings account can trigger an automated review. To the bank, that's a data change. To you, it's normal life. But the system doesn't see it that way. Now, imagine this. Your deposit usually arrives on the second or third Wednesday of the month. You've already planned your expenses: rent, groceries, prescriptions. Then, Wednesday comes and nothing shows up. You check again Thursday morning, still nothing. You call Social Security, they tell you the payment was sent on time. You call your bank, they tell you it's under review. That gap, that waiting period, is where anxiety skyrockets. And here's the most important thing to understand. This does not mean your benefits are being reduced. It does not mean your payments are being stopped. It does not mean Social Security is taking your money back. These are processing holds, not benefit decisions. But the impact is still very real. A short delay can mean a missed payment, an overdraft fee, a late charge, or worse, going without essentials while you wait. Now, here's something that may surprise you. Banks are not required to notify you immediately when a government deposit is flagged. Some do, some don't. In many cases, the first sign is simply that the money isn't there yet. And that's why rumors spread so fast online. People start posting that checks are being cut, that benefits are ending, that new laws were passed overnight. None of that is true, but the fear feels real because the experience is real. What's also changing is how banks communicate. More recipients are receiving automated emails or app notifications asking them to confirm identity, update contact information, or acknowledge account terms. If you ignore those messages, your deposit may stay on hold longer than necessary. That's the small detail most people miss. Now, here's the good news. Most of these delays are resolved quickly once verification is complete. In many cases, the money is released the same day. In others, within 24 to 48 hours. But timing matters because as these new rules continue rolling out, awareness becomes your best protection. Here's what you need to do right now to make sure your Social Security payments aren't delayed. First, check your bank account details. Make sure your information is current, your address, phone number, and linked accounts. Even a small mismatch can trigger a review. Second, pay attention to any messages from your bank. emails, texts, or app notifications asking you to confirm your identity are legitimate. Respond promptly. Don't ignore them. Third, if your deposit doesn't arrive on the usual day, contact your bank immediately. Ask if a review or verification hold is in place. Most issues are resolved quickly once you confirm your information. Fourth, don't panic if you see a delay. Social Security has sent your payment. Your benefits are not being reduced. These are procedural delays, not cuts. Now, here's the reassurance you need. Even with these new banking rules, the vast majority of payments are still arriving on time. Most recipients will never notice any difference. For those who do, it's usually a temporary pause that clears within a day or two. Mark your calendars and stay alert. The next few months are when banks are fully implementing these updates, and being proactive now can save you stress later. Remember, knowledge is power. By understanding these changes and taking a few simple steps, you can ensure your money arrives safely and on time. Social Security remains a reliable, stable program. Your benefits are secure, and these adjustments don't change the support you rely on every month. Stay informed, watch for updates, and make your finances a priority because being prepared today prevents panic tomorrow. Your money, your benefits, your peace of mind, protect them all. Because when it comes to Social Security, being aware is the best way to stay ahead.